Hey, this is Barry Bates with Coldwell Banker Realty. I am here today to talk about our 30s. So, this is people under the age of 30 who have purchased a home or purchased real estate in their lives. And today I have Maurice and Erica here with us, and they're going to kind of share a little bit of background of like what their mindset was around purchasing real estate. And this is something I've been very passionate about. Been really working to get into this space to have this kind of format for probably almost 8 to 10 years. So this is really exciting for me. It's exciting to have Maurice and Erica here because they're just very dynamic, very courageous people who have stepped out into this space. So I guess I could start with you, Maurice. Like, what is it that you hear that people like assume, like in their 20s, that is too early or they actually shouldn't buy
My bad. I,
yet?
I'm nervous. You gotta start with her.
Okay.
Start with her. My
All right.
bad. My
So
bad.
Erica, same question. Like, what do you hear people in their 20s why they say they want to put off owning a home?
There's so many excuses as far as like I don't have enough money or um I'm not ready to settle on like one place right now or I don't really know where I want to live or there's just a bunch of different excuses, but for me I was desperate. So I knew I wanted to own something. Rent is just crazy expensive. So, yeah, I absolutely needed a house as soon as possible.
How did your family feel about it once you kind of stepped out into that space?
My stepmom actually, she pushed me to just go for it. I think I only had about $8,000 saved up. And I'm like, I don't have enough money. That's not really, I wouldn't be able to have enough for like the closing cost or money for furniture and different stuff like that. But she was like, no, like now is the time. And I'm like, okay, I'll start looking.
And it seems like our house hunting wasn't very long. It seemed like we got out there. I know for sure it was less than 10 properties that we saw.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, she told me to start looking. This was in the summertime, um, like 6 years ago.
Hmm.
And it just took just a couple of months. Um, yeah, it didn't take long at all, but it felt stressful on my end.
For sure. And when I go back to remember how we got connected, it was from my neighbor Ray, who lived up the street from me. I think that
Mm,
knew somebody in your family, which is how we got connected.
yeah,
Yeah, that's cool.
it's my uncle.
That's your uncle.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Yep, Ray, he does a lot of good work.
Oh yeah.
He's in the real estate game like none
Hmm.
other. None other.
He's actually helping me with my floors right now. That's been a journey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's serious. I've seen his work. He did a renovated a property up the street from us, and it was nice. I went in there a couple of times. It's
Yeah, that man
beautiful.
doesn't play
Now,
around.
and since we're kind of on that topic, we'll shift over to Maurice because I know Maurice has done a lot of stuff with investment type of opportunities. Want to share about
Okay.
a little bit about that?
Um, my bad. Yeah. What you want to know about it?
Tell us all
what
about it.
what? And I hear this conversation a lot too. I've had some people who are investors and they have friends and they have coworkers that hear what like I hear what Maurice is doing. Like I want to get in the game. I want to do that, but what kind of things do you see as hurdles that keep people from making that bold first step?
The fear of failing. I mean, a lot of people don't want to step out and take the chance of failing. So I see that a lot. A lot of people that I talk to and deal with, they scared to fail. They scared to take that shot because they don't know if it's gonna work. One thing about with me is I'm willing to take that shot. I'm looking more for the reward than I am the loss. I'm
Yes.
focusing on where I can be in 10 years, 15 years. So, you know,
Sure.
I'm taking that shot every chance.
Okay. I like that. You managed Airbnbs first. Is that correct? Before
Hmm.
you actually purchased yours?
Yes.
Okay. How was and I remember a little bit about our experience when we first started looking for that first one. We were up in Hamilton, and the things we kept encountering, we kept running into places that were old,
Mhm.
slanted floors, was driving you
Mm.
crazy.
Mhm.
We had a lot of that inspection kind of things. What was like if you had described like a word that described your first inspection once you got that report back?
um, the inspections.
Yeah.
The inspections normally like depending on like the ballpark of what you're trying to spend. Normally the inspections is not perfect, and like I tell people, I'm not necessarily looking for the perfect property. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
more of an investor, so I'm just looking for something that works, So as if I can see a return, if I can see a profit, I'm willing to take the shot at it. Long as it's not, foundation issues where it's gonna cost me a lot of different money or certain things like that. But other than that, I mean, it don't have to be technically perfect. It just gotta work. And if it worked, then I'm gonna take my shot at it.
Okay. I remember Maurice would go buy the property.
Yeah.
This van would I've been by there about 4 or 5 times. I looked at this and that. So by the time we got there to actually do the showing, you know, Maurice had kind of assessed what was going on outside. And then when we got inside, we could put the two things together. And that was real helpful from a structural perspective
Right.
because there were some things that we saw outside that directly correlated to inside issues. So that's cool. And then I kind of switch back to you, Eric, and I think you kind of touched on this about what people get wrong about owning a home. Like, what is it that makes them so fearful? Maurice, you talked about how sometimes people are afraid to fail. What would you say to that, Eric?
And I don't even understand what makes people think that they're even gonna fail in investing in something that they'll own forever or until they sell it or whatever they want to do with it. But um, I don't know.
Mm. I hear a lot, and maybe some of this will resonate too. It's easy because the landlord can fix it. And I talked about this on one of my shorts before too. Like, the landlord can fix it.
And a lot of times the landlord, they, would roughly try and fix something and then it's broken all over again. Or so I would rather buy a house and make sure, I fix it up the way that I want it and put good money towards it instead of, relying on somebody else to do a half job.
Yeah, that's true. That's truth. I hear a lot about that. The roof, that's another one I hear. Oh, if the roof starts leaking, the landlord take care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think too on that point, I think a lot of people don't want to deal with the responsibility.
Mm,
Yeah.
Because it's a little different when you're renting. Is a lot of it the responsibility is on the owner. And a lot of people are not willing to step up and take care of that responsibility. Because I mean, owning a home is it's a responsibility as well.
yes.
Something
Yeah.
go wrong, it's on you to fix. That's why I'm big into more of the investment part because I feel like it pays for itself.
Hmm.
You know.
Definitely. How many? So, what form of investment do you have, and what made you feel like that was the best route?
Um, you said how many investments?
No, like which type? Do you just have rentals?
Rental. I more do the short term rental because how I look at it is I like to get paid more than once. So I'm looking at the profit. The profit margin is big to me. So rather than just get paid once a month, I like to get paid daily. So that made me get into short term rentals, and that was probably one of the best things I ever did in my life.
And that's a hot item too, because like you said, I love how you said that you get to get paid more than once.
Right.
And I know you've shown me some of those reservations and stuff and how things book up. And I think you do like a wonderful job of seeing your properties, man. You lay it out.
Mhm.
I feel like I need to know more about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you should for sure. No, seriously, like I
Yeah.
think I think I think everybody should get some type of rental properties
Hmm.
into that to their portfolio just because I mean it's profitable, Somebody else paying your mortgage. I mean, you still getting a profit on the back end monthly. And I mean you building equity. I mean, it's all around the board a plus.
Hmm.
And it's more than one way to win, So I think that's a big thing.
Yep. So having those multiple prongs, those
Hmm.
different tentacles of investing, and it is, and there's some people who have strengths towards what the angle that you're at. Then there's some that like to just rent and have multiples and build that portfolio, which we've talked about too. And then some that like to just flip, which is great too. A lot of
Hmm.
risk. It's short term, and you got to really have your game together, have your people together, have your process has to be tight
Hmm.
so that you, because we've done those, and I remember the first one. We had to go through firing a contractor, but we had some backup people on board. We learned a lot, and I
Hmm.
think as you talk about the fear of failing,
Hmm.
we didn't have that. It was just like, all right, well, God's going to give us the next person, or the next one, and it just so happened when we did that first one, we had a guy doing all the concrete stuff, driveway, walkway around to the back, all of that concrete work. And then right at the time we fired the guy who was handling the inside stuff, this guy, we just pulled him inside.
Right.
And it just, some things were just like God's timing, get that favor. And after we did our third one, I kind of felt like I could go buy something at an auction, sight unseen, because we had touched everything from foundation to roof. The garage was collapsing, leaking in the basement, just the
You was
whole
more
gamut.
comfortable.
Very,
Right.
very. And that kind of makes me think why why people just look at it on TV and think that, this is easy. Do either of you watch HGTV?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Y'all believe
No,
it?
I mean it's but the crazy part about it is, I mean, nothing is easy when the line of real estate. But I feel like the more comfortable you get, the more easy it becomes. I feel like with short term rentals and things like that's getting easier for me as the more I learn, the more I know, the more I'm involved. And I think I mean, the more that you do with anything, the more practice you put in, the easier it becomes. I feel like that's the fear of a lot of people starting off because they haven't done it. So it's uncomfortable.
Hmm.
But the more that you do it, the more that you're willing to take that shot. So
Yeah.
I do think it can become easy. It's on how much you put work into it.
And
Okay.
I feel like having people around you that got that same mindset, like that I'm gonna buy this house and, you know, make sure I create, you know, this generational
It's like a wealth
it's
kind of position
yeah.
for yourself. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't have people around them that's like that got that same mindset. So
And I think people underestimate the value appreciation in a property that exists versus other things, motorcycles, cars that depreciate as soon as
yeah,
you
I
pull them
could
off the
care less
lot.
about that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, that's true. But a lot of people don't have an understanding of the entrepreneurship. People don't understand the investment part. Like my mom, for instance. She worked the same job 35 years, comfortable with it, and I tell her to invest, and it's more of a hassle than it is a help. And
Hmm.
it's like, how can't you see that? You building generational wealth. Building your portfolio, and it's more stressful for her than it is
Mm.
to help. But it's like, I don't see how you can't see it. Like, it's multiple ways to win. It's longevity. It's generational wealth. It's something that you can pass down to the next generation. So it's like, I can't see it no other way. You know.
Hmm.
Right. And I remember we did talk about that too. And do you think when you look at different generations, ages, that there's more? Do you think that the tenacity or the desire increases, or do you see sometimes where it just kind of plateaus and people just kind of say, "I forget it"?
I think it's growing. I think that there's more people that want to invest. There's more people that need to invest. There's more people that's forced to invest. So I'm thinking that it's gonna keep growing. I mean, people trying to get out the struggle. People trying to figure out a way. Um, so I think it's growing.
Okay. Erica, has anyone in your friend circle like purchased since you did?
Yeah, I have actually um, a friend of mine that's interested right now.
Okay.
Um,
Referral business.
yeah, yeah. I'll have to tell her all about you and
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
Um, I have a couple of friends. Yeah,
How did you all feel about the financing part? Did that feel intimidating? Did it feel like it was a lot of paperwork?
definitely a lot of paperwork.
Yes. Yes.
Uh,
But
I mean, I signed up for it. This is what I
yeah,
wanted. So it was honestly, I can do it 1,000 more times. I mean, this is what I want. I want to build wealth, and this is the way to build it for me. So, nah, I mean, it was a lot of paperwork, but to me, I do it 1,000 more times. This is what I want. So
Yes.
I'm
yeah,
comfortable. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? I'm over comfortable. I can sign some papers right there to get another property. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Right.
true. Do you remember, Erica, like how your experience was? I think we were with Qatar.
Yeah.
Grant
Um.
wise, money wise, like down payment assistance.
So I had went through the first time home buyers process and got like, I don't know, $5 or $6,000. It was a grant, and it was the little class I took. It was perfect. It told me everything I needed to know as far as like inspections and just literally everything. The pamphlet was thick, but it was needed. Um, it was like overall, since I was doing this, as a single person, like it was a lot for me. But like you said, I would do it over and over and over again.
Nice.
So no matter
And
how stressful it was, there's like I'm owning something at the end of the day. So
mm. And then there's this thing too, like, since 2020, so March of 2020 till November 2023, home values in Ohio, just on an average, appreciated by around 42%. But one of the things that happened as a offset of that was that the state, just a couple years ago, went and did a complete valuation in all 88 counties in Ohio, and they raised the basically the tax base amount. And so that created, you know, some things where people who own homes that were already paid for, that may have been on fixed incomes, that kind of really forced them to the edge. And it created an increase, pretty dramatic too, very noticeable increase on mortgages that people were having too. There's a lot of other ways to offset that. The beauty of it though is that you're in a position to own. And then if you're renting and you have that situation that comes up for your landlord, guess where the increase is coming? It's coming directly to you, and they're probably going to pad it. That's a possibility. I don't have the visual proof and see it, but when we look at the statistics and the data of how much rent increased during that time, it kind of speaks for itself. We hear a lot about, and I'm gonna kind of stay on the in the financing space, grants, down payment assistance, things of that nature that are available. I know we're in a period now, right now, with like the Welcome Home grants and that information. Do you feel like that's important to have out front too? Would that maybe change people's minds if they knew they could qualify for some of those things?
yeah, I think so. Because not a lot of people have, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars saved up. So knowing upfront that they could even have a grant to piggyback off of, I think that would be really helpful.
That's cool.
Hmm.
I mean, it helps a lot. I mean, any type of assistance you can get to get into a property, I think that's detrimental.
Mhm. And then the equity factor is amazing too because from within that time frame, because that's when you purchased. I mean, so you've been able to, and I know we've sent like one or two reports of like how your value has gone up, and I
Hmm.
think we're probably at a point where you've almost doubled from what you purchased it
Cha-ching.
for. Yeah, I mean, so that's the beauty that sound. I mean, that resonates. That's real, and as you pay that down, so the formula is your value goes up, what you owe decreases, and all that in the middle and that gap is your equity. So you can use that equity to, purchase another property, to pay off high credit card debt or anything you want to consolidate for kids for college, for home improvements. It's so many different things you can do to tap into that. Um, let's talk about also like the importance of credit. How important did you see that being as you were preparing to kind of like get into this space?
For me, my mom has always like told me how important credit was, and she co-signed for me to have a credit card when I was a teenager, and she made sure that well, she would let me go to the mall, go and buy as many clothes as I wanted, and then like she made sure that I paid it off, made sure I was building my credit. So by the time it was time for me to get a house or to get a car or whatever it was, my credit was already ready to go to buy anything.
Okay. Cool. Reese.
I think that the credit is the most important part in business. You
Hmm.
know, I think that your credit is your word. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, if I just meet you, I don't know nothing about you. I look at your credit and let me know everything I need to know. So I
Mm,
think that's important,
mm.
very important.
Say that again for the people in the back row.
Right?
Uh, I said if I just meet you, I mean, I can look at your credit score and that tells me everything I need to know about you. So I think that's very important when you're trying to start off. You know, first purchasing your home, you need to have your credit right. You
Yes.
know, that means your word to me. You know, and I'm sure anybody that don't know you, that's the first thing they looking at is their credit. You know, they want to make sure that if you taking care of your business, I can trust you. But if you got a bad credit score, you ain't taking care of your business, probably won't want to give you that loan. You know,
Yeah.
so I think that's very big.
Yeah, and that's huge in the space of I don't know, I guess some people just don't understand. It's about having the information. And I think that's what moves me. I work with this guy, Charles Wiley. He has his nonprofit, Let's Get It Business Production Center, and we teach education classes there. I do some things through working in neighborhoods as well. And I just did a pop up with one of my lending partners. We did a pop up at Southern Grace Eats. Shout out to Southern Grace
Oh,
Eats.
I haven't been there yet.
Oh,
It's crazy. My brother just went there today.
you haven't been there yet?
No,
Southern
not
Grace,
yet.
All
yeah.
right, cut. No, yeah, and shout out to Nikki. She's like the greatest owner
Yeah, she
that I
is.
see, and
She
she's
is.
interactive. She comes out and she mingles with the people in the restaurant. Wants to see how your experience is. Um, it's wonderful, wonderful spot.
I'll have to check it out.
3751 Montgomery Road.
Yeah.
In
Yay.
case you didn't know, but we people fail for lack of knowledge,
Mhm.
and that's just a passion of mine. Like trying to really make sure, even like the little pop up event we did there, we had another agent was there with us, the lender, myself, and then we had I think somewhere about 20 people that
Mhm.
attended, kind of in and out, and I think it's important to get out to where people are. Um, I know one of the first few that I've done like independently, I want to do them like at the office, or you want to do them in this space, and I've learned go where people are at. And because, maybe the 10 people that we invited that came, the other 10 or 15 saw what was going on and say, hey, how can I get some of that?
Right.
And having information and new construction and all those kind of things, those opportunities are the sky's the limit.
Yeah, I agree. I think information is the key to success. I feel like when we talk about fear, I think a lot of it is because lack of knowledge.
Mhm.
Once you do know, you feel a little bit more comfortable to make the move. A lot of people that first time home owners or buyers, they don't know. Once you do know, it's like, dang, I should have been done this. So I
Hmm.
think lack of knowledge is the key to lose. I feel like the key to win is knowing.
Mhm.
So that knowledge is important.
It seems like it gets into a place of where people get, as you talk about, like just kind of comfortable where they're at, the
Hmm.
situation that they're in. And the people before them, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandparents, lived in rental type of situations. And it's like that's almost all that they know.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And they kind of get like boxed into that. And I've run into some people that are just, and one thing as a real estate agent, I learned I can't want it more than you do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'll follow up and I'll be persistent, but I'll get to a point where I kind of come square up and say, hey, are you really trying to do this, or have you given up? That's my question. Have you given up on becoming a homeowner?
Hmm.
Hmm.
And that's a question they have to answer, not just for themselves, but for their kids, their anyone else in their family. And that's a big reverberating thing because you don't leave anything for anyone if you're renting,
Yeah.
except everybody running in trying to grab all your furniture
Yeah.
Mm.
or grab something. Oh yeah, Uncle Maurice had this so and so. You know, it just creates this materialistic. I guess is where I'm going with that kind of materialistic approach, where they try to just grab at stuff and not have something that lasts. And then that next level of it too is like, how do you protect your investment with, trust?
True.
Is it trust? Is it in a will? Is it in an LLC? Maurice, let's maybe talk to you about that part with the business side.
Um, I think the best way to protect it is a trust. Um, I haven't started me a trust yet because I'm still building a portfolio.
Mm.
But I feel down the line as I keep growing, definitely a trust. Because I want to be able to pass it down to the next generation. But not only pass it down, I want to make sure that they can keep the assets rather than to lose them. And I think the trust is protecting that. I think that's important. The LLC is very important. To keep control of not allowing to be lawsuits and different things. You can kind of can contain those things with the LLC too as well. So I think the LLC is a good start, and I think a trust is a good finish. Or not even a finish, a point where you got enough real estate where you can put those into a trust to control it.
Got it.
Yeah. I only have one property, but I have a lot of little ones behind me, so I thought it was pretty important for me to have a will.
Yeah,
And yeah.
that's good. What advice, if you were talking to your friends, peers, people you run into, like, what advice would you give them to help them see that this can be beneficial and something that's practical, actionable?
I feel like I never really have to say too much. When I tell them how much my mortgage is, that they're like stoned off of that.
Yeah, yeah, because that mortgage is on a low low.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like perfect for me. But I don't think I would have went for it unless if it wasn't for you, honestly.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I was gonna like bypass that house completely.
It's good that
Yeah.
you didn't. It doubled. So that's good that you
Yeah.
didn't.
Cool. What about you, Reese?
What was the question again?
Just like, what advice would you give someone coming up?
Um, I would just say get started. If you haven't got started, get started. If you already got started, keep going. You know, um, it's generational wealth. That's the key for me, and
That's
that's
the
that's
main thing.
that's the
Yeah.
main thing. It's generational wealth. So I'm not looking for today. I'm looking for the future. So as long as I keep 10 years ahead, I'm just keep going. That's the goal for me. Just keep going. And if somebody haven't got started, I would say get started. I mean, today counts. Yesterday don't matter. So
Mhm.
just get started.
Today counts. Yeah. Today counts now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get into it now.
Yeah.
And it's fun when you can see somebody like over the whole spectrum. So, like, Maurice, his mom and I played on a co-ed softball team together
Oh
back
wow.
in back in the day.
Right.
And mom had this glove that just caught everything. So we usually locked it down either like in the outfield or on the. She was third base, I was shortstop, so we always had it down. Maurice used to videotape our games, and I actually had some of the tapes out last year. And I was listening to him. I'm like, man, this guy's grown up.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, one of your aunts was like, "We need to have a watch party since you got all the games." I was like, "Yeah, we should."
Yeah.
So it's coming up. We're gonna put that
Right.
together. And I just want to thank everybody for just like tuning in with us today. We're gonna have more engaging content like this. If you have some feedback, comments, thoughts, if you want to be a part of the show, messages 513-258-8690. That's Barry Bates at Caldwell Banker Realty. I thank Erica and Maurice for taking time out to come join us today.
Thank you for
This has
having
been
us.
this has been an honor, and I appreciate it. I'm so proud. Ooh, oh, like over the top of the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, like all the way out in the universe, like all the way. Very proud of both of you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm proud of you too. I mean, I seen you grow. I mean, I
Yeah.
seen you in my own neighborhood. I mean, Barry been kicking it. I early morning I'm taking my daughter to school, and I'm seeing his car parked at a driveway 2 houses down. I'm like, is this you? It is him. I was like, yeah, you doing your thing. I'm proud of you. So
Thank you.
you. And what's good about you is you upfront. I mean, if it's a property that don't fit the person, you will say that. You
Yeah,
just won't focus on the money. You will focus on the actual long term, building a connection with your people, and that's important.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
important. Some realtors they jump in and they know it don't fit you. They know it may be a little over your head, and they for their profit they'll push you.
Mhm.
One thing about you, pull the string like what, let's keep looking.
Yeah.
I had a property where I started a company where we doing flips, and I sent something to Barry, and I'm like, what, Barry, what you think about this? And he was like, hey, we're gonna keep looking. You could have easily said go for it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I think that's big. The trust is that's very big.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. And it's because I realized like that matters.
Yeah,
Like that integrity. I like sleeping good at night,
yeah,
and that's my whole. If you ask me one thing, what do I love about real estate in terms of what I do with single family homes, multifamilies, renovation and resale? I like sleeping good at night.
mm,
I like sleeping. I know that if I give somebody advice, I want to feel good about it. Like, yeah, they put this into this property and yield this return.
hmm,
I want to sleep good on that
yeah.
for sure.
That's longevity. When you built that right connection, and you being honest and up forward. Them same customers start today, 10 years down the line, they still buying real estate through you. So I think that's big.
And it's funny, everybody's not built for that.
Yeah,
Everybody's not built for that no or
yeah,
that delay. Like, nah, this not the one. I've had a time or two where people have pushed back, like, you just don't want me to get it. It's like,
hmm,
Nope.
of course I do,
yeah,
but not this
right.
Yeah.
because I can see things. And
Hmm.
I had someone one time wanted to adamant about going to look at this house that you could see it in the pictures. It had moldy,
Oh
well,
goodness.
excuse me, I'm not a mold specialist. It had black discoloration on the
Oh.
walls, boxes that had you could tell it had been moved. How like when cardboard gets wet on the
Oh
floor,
Yeah,
wow.
and it was like you could tell somebody had moved it, and the cardboard was still sticking to the floor.
Why would
Um,
anybody even want that?
there
right.
was yeah, and yeah,
They was mad because you didn't push through with them.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
crazy.
and I had to let that person go experience that for themselves with somebody else
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
I
yeah.
wasn't I'm not going to go into a space where I can see
See.
all this stuff
Hmm.
just on the pictures.
Hmm.
I can see it. Nah, that's not a good health move. Number
Yeah.
one, and
Yeah.
so why would we want to get into something like that? Why would I want to put
Hmm.
you and your child or children into that space
Hmm.
to even consider that? And the price point it was so low, and that's what I tried to explain. That's not likely that they've got the money to that it costs to make that right for you and your family.
Right.
That would
Let's not,
cost so much.
yeah,
I think that integrity is important. I think that, it ain't just about the quick dollar, it's about the long run. And the long run is integrity.
yes,
And I think that's one thing that you stand good and firm on is integrity.
thank
You could
Mhm.
have pushed off because I've been on the go. It's been a green light for me. So,
yeah,
I think take some of your advice where you like, Maury, slow down. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like this ain't the one.
yep,
And that's big though. Especially somebody that's starting off that never purchased a property, don't know much about real estate. I think that's important because you need somebody on your team, on your side that can tell you, okay, this is a green light or no, we jumping too fast.
mm,
That's important because a lot of people, like I said, jumping in and they in fear. They haven't done it before. They don't know, is this a good move or not? And you got a little bit more experience, and them having you on a team that's big. And if you can tell them like, nah, this is not the right move, and they can trust your judgment, I think that go a long way. Which is from my experience, they can.
yes,
I think that's big.
yes. Well, again, thank you both for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you all on the next episode of 30 Under 30. This is Barry Bates with Caldwell Banker Realty with my guests Maurice and Erica, and we're out.
Yeah,
Nice and sweet.
that was good.